Timothy Goodwin, we're close to becoming a partner, should be making a decision by November 30th. That's great, Timothy. Take advantage of that promotion. You know, you're saving yourself a few $1,000s if you take advantage of that promotion. Kent Wade, do I call to sign up for the mock-up service? Absolutely, Kent. You call in and talk to partner specialists about getting a mock-up. Sorry, lots of questions flooding in. Okay. Is there a developer API to get data like disks used, files transferred, etc.? There is a full API you can leverage. We only make that available to partners of a certain size, but ask our partner specialists about the API integration options. And there is a very rich API available to partners, and then there's actually dedicated, we've actually started a new program, a dedicated development partner program. So if you don't want to do the integration yourself, we've got certain partners who are certified on our API who can do the development work for you. Grant Moss says, what about backing up CCTV DVR systems with cloud? Grant, wouldn't be a problem. CCTV usually produces highly compressed data, so that's a right target for backup. Patrick Alvarez, you can just say yes or no. Patrick, what's that about? Can you give me more context on that? Will our SOS contacts share with us other competition in our geographic area? From DB. I'm not sure what you mean. We don't have particular information about specific competition in your area, but I might be misunderstanding the question. Sean Rudzik says, okay, so if a backup file weighs in at 12 megabytes, does it count as 24 megs when I get one more older copies racking up in the archives? Oh, great question. No, we pay for archiving and for versioning for you. It doesn't cost you a cent. So if it's a 12 meg file in your system, it costs you 12 megs from your allocation. Now that'll end up costing us, 50, 60, 70 megs as we store all the versions, but we eat all of that cost. Stephen Chapital says, what about deduplication? Stephen, we do use a lot of dedupe to reduce the amount of data that's got to be protected. Thomas Betts asks, is Pulse an additional fee for us? Thomas, if you're coming in as a T1 wholesaler, usually Pulse would be bundled in. If you're coming in as at smaller partner level, then Pulse would be $9.95 if you've got to buy it separately. Derek Grunwald says, do you have anything alerting me of a failed or missed backup? Absolutely, Derek. That's actually one of the major use cases of Pulse. So Pulse will give you on-demand reports or email reports of any backup exceptions. So it can tell you, okay, hey, a backup ran and it ran successfully, or it can tell you backup ran with some warnings, or it can tell you backup didn't run at all, which is usually, something that you're then going to investigate. So that's absolutely, that's core to the Pulse offering. I've been trying to, Christopher Therese says, I've been trying to choose a partner. I've looked at your option. Are you familiar with Vembu or Backup Agent competitors? I'm familiar with Vembu, Christopher. I'm not familiar with Backup Agent. Ewan Nguyen asks, can you restore massive data through online? Ewan, usually you can recover up to about 1 terabyte pretty easily online. Beyond that, you would use our PMR, Physical Media Recovery Service, where we do the recovery and send it out to you. Anthony Palermo says, what will be different from the current Mac product line to the core one? Anthony, really the robustness of the product and the management offerings. So, yeah, really expanding. I mean, the problem is Mac really just isn't used that much in the enterprise. Mac's very, very popular among students and very popular in certain industries, but it's just not a typical solution out there in the small business space or the enterprise space. So most of our R&D, frankly, is focused on Windows-based solutions because it's just so dominant in the SMB and enterprise space. John Johns, can we use this software to do bare metal backup to a local storage device? No, John. So you can do a full system backup, but it's not a bare metal backup. Anthony Palermo, that you are building. Sorry, Anthony, I still don't understand the question. Sorry to be so dense. Jay Shaw, great presentation. Very interested in getting involved. Great, Jay. Call in, put your name down for that Kindle, and we'd love to welcome you to the partnership team here at SOS. Alex Tichenor asks, are there any AV programs that conflict with your software? We installed 474 on 12 machines with Panda AV. At least 3 machines had issues. Could this be related? Also had trouble logging in web portal using Chrome. Any browser conflicts? I'll go in reverse. No browser conflicts, so that's strange, Alex. And I don't know who you're working with there, but if you call in and ask to talk to John Wagner, our Chief Sales Engineer, he can probably help you. If you're already a partner, obviously you do a support, but if you're not a partner, then our sales engineering team is best. As for the AV question, yes, AV products can mess with, any and all software. So actually, in our installation guide, we recommend that you add SOS to the safe lists on all of your AV software, because the AV vendors should be updating their software to be compatible with our software, but frankly, they fall behind. So often AV companies will take a few months to get their databases correct. So the easiest thing is just to add SOS to your safe lists. And actually, if you go on our website and you click download now and go to SOS for Business, right there on the Getting Started guide are some detailed instructions on how to do that with various AV solutions. Timothy Goodwin asks, can you explain the branded tech support that customers would engage? So branded tech support is only available to our biggest partners, Timothy. Generally, our tech support would be delivered to you, and you would deliver the tech support to your customers. But if you want to ask specific questions, then I can talk to that. Bjorn Richter says, is the software writing a fail or success to the event log on servers or even workstations? Bjorn, it maintains its own product log. It doesn't use the Windows event log, although Pulse does. So if you're using Pulse, then you can check out the Windows event logs. But again, the easiest information would be actually just to use the Pulse UI, which is a cloud-based UI, to get at all that data. All right. DB asks, other partners that you were providing SOS services to? Oh, sure. You can ask your partner specialist about what other SOS partners there are in your area. We've only got 1,000 partners though around the world, so the chances that there's an SOS partner in your local area, I think, are pretty slim at the moment. Eli Goikidosh asks, in case of a disaster, can you ship the data on a hard drive overnight? Absolutely. We call that our PMR service, Physical Media Recovery. Ewan says, so basically as a reseller of yours, we just sell service to customers without worrying managing the vault to keep their data. Correct. We absolutely manage the infrastructure on the back end for you, and you don't need to worry about that at all. Patrick Alvarez says, what about dedupe and compression? Do we get to leverage either one on the vault? We do use a lot of compression and a lot of dedupe, but we keep the billing model simple. If a file's 1 meg on your computer, then that's what it takes off your allocation. So we give all the versioning for free, we give all the archiving for free. On average, we end up storing about 8 times as much data as the original data, but we don't charge you for that. So if a file is 100 megabytes but compresses to 50 megabytes on the vault, how are we charged? You're charged for 100 megabytes. But the version, it won't be 50 megabytes. Like I said, we generally end up storing 8 times as much data as the original data. Nicholas Spurlock asks, what branding takes place at the $250 level? Nicholas, complete branding, so a complete white labeled solution if you want to go that road, or we can co-brand it for you. Okay. Sean Rudsick says, is it possible to make backups from a Linux file system via Windows OS? Absolutely, Sean. So the software backs up network drives. Again, Mozy, Carbonite, they don't back up network drives. So you would create a Samba share on your Linux box and then back that up from a PC on your network. Or we can set that up for you. John Johns, is Active Directory backed up? You can configure it to back up AD, yep. Anthony Palermo, will there be audio too with the webinar when available? Yes. Ewan, so you support any OS, Win, Novell, Linux, Exchange, Oracle, SQL, Domino. Well, they're not all OSs. We will run on Windows and Mac, but you can back up from any of those other OSs you're listing, Novell, Linux, by backing up shared data. So what most people do when they're deploying it is they pick one server on the network to be their backup staging server. They install the SOS technology on that server, and then it will then pull all the data off the network and then ship it up to the cloud. Patrick Alvarez again with across the vault, deduplication is very common. So if we have 500 gigs and 100 gigs of deduplication, we only charge 400 gigs. Patrick, the billing model is extremely simple. If you protect 500 gigs of data, then that's how much you use from your storage allocation. So if you've got, say, a terabyte of capacity and you select 500 gigs, then you've used 500 gigs of your capacity. And again, the cost of versioning and archiving far outweighs any benefit we get from compression or dedupe. So dedupe and compression are actually pretty minor cost savings. Remember also, we then store your data in 2 separate physically distinct data centers, and this is something none of the competition do. They'll usually store it in just one data center. We always store your data in 2 physically distinct data centers as well. So it's a very robust solution on the back end. Sean Rudzik, does your software have any compatibility issues with either NOD32, Microsoft Security Essentials, Malwarebytes, or SpySoft? Sean, I don't know the details of those 4 security platforms enough to give you a confident answer, but I will say this. If you add SOS to the safe lists of those products, you'll have no problems. Because we're network software, the best practice in deployment is just to tell your security software that it should trust SOS. We register with all the AV companies, but they can be slow to update their databases. Okay. Ewan says, you mentioned about a SIGRA. Are you related to them? No, we compete with the SIGRA, Ewan. Derek Grunwald, can we do a trial of the software before signing up a partnership? Of course. John Johns, I'm backing up 516 gigabytes with Mozy and 24 clients paying $309. How would this compare to SOS? Also, if I switch, I have time where I have to pay both accounts. Is there any assistance in help? No, I mean, you would need to sort out the logistics of any switch across, John. As for the cost, it would depend on which partnership level you come in at. So the best thing to do is call in and talk to a partner specialist and figure out which pricing tier you would come in at. It would almost certainly be cheaper. What are your customers paying, John? Is that $309 what your customers are paying or what you're paying? Ewan says, is there any extra cost to migrate to archive location? No, Ewan, there's not. Grant Moss, can you upgrade storage size at any time? If you say you are running out of a terabyte and need to go to 2 or 3 terabytes. Absolutely, of course. All right, so we're over time here, so I'll move to wrap things up. Got a couple more questions that I'll answer, but if you've got a question, ask it now, otherwise we're going to need to wrap up soon. Ewan says, can you please tell me more about the promotion? Yep, our most common product offering is our Easy 500 program. So that's half a terabyte of capacity in the cloud, fully branded everything, full access to the training, full access to the Partner Resource Center, the marketing support, and the sales support. And that is $395 a month. And if you buy before the 30th of November, you'll get 600 gigs of capacity in the cloud. So you actually save $1,500 on that. So it's a pretty great promotion that we've got going through the end of November. All right, and that was our last question. I want to end it there, but thank you everybody for participating. We had great audience participation today, which is always excellent. Remember to call in and ask about the Kindle. And if there's any other takers for that hosted webinar, then just type it in. And otherwise, please join us at webinars we do again in the future. And we love feedback, so if you want to send me an email, my email address is ken.shaw@sosonlinebackup.com, and I'd welcome any feedback you've got. Kindle code, again, we're getting asked, is KDX6892. That's Kilo Delta X-Ray 6892. Terrific. All right, well, thank you, everybody, for your time, and have a wonderful day.